Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.
Welcome to Avanti Talent Spotlight. And we're kicking off our first Avanti Talent Spotlight episode with Ianthee. Hey, Ianthee.
Hi. How are you?
I am doing great. So happy to be here. So happy for you to be our first person to be picked by all of our coaches to be our first Talent Spotlight.
Yes, I'm very honored.
All right. So you went through our virtual training program, which you went through training once a week for 16 weeks, and then you went through a virtual showcase. But what I want to do is I want to take it back a little bit, right? I want to take it back before you started to get into entertainment and wanted to be entertainment. Who was Ianthee, and what were you kind of doing?
Well, I was just going to school. Honestly, I was trying to see what I really wanted to do, in my life, what I was really, really passionate about. But from the beginning, I was always passionate about, modeling and acting.
Mhm.
But before that, I always wanted to cook. I always wanted to be a chef. I
Oh,
wanted to, I'm from the Caribbean and we do a lot of cooking over
yeah.
there. So everyone that has met me know that I cook. So that's the number one thing before modeling and acting came in.
Wait. Do you cook or do you throw down?
Throw down.
You throw down. That's what I'm talking about. I know where to go, where I'm going in November for Thanksgiving.
Right.
So, cooking is one of your biggest passions, you could say, and you're really good at it. What's your favorite dish to make?
I make a wonderful oxtail dish, with baked mac and cheese and vegetables. Yeah.
Okay, we got to stop this interview and we just get to cooking. So now, when did you get when you were going to school? Let me backtrack. When you were going to school, what were you going to school for?
Just regular academics, I did a couple of choir things in school, and I was a cheerleader. I was a stepper.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I can see you. You have a beautiful smile, but I can see you putting the mean face on.
well, if I have to. Yeah, if I have to.
So since you love cooking so much, are you really into the cooking shows like Master Chef or Iron Chef
Yes.
or any of those? Do you aspire to be on any of those shows?
Um, One would say yes, but to be honest, like under that pressure,
Mhm.
I probably wouldn't because I work in my own pace,
Yeah.
comfortable in my own pace. So under that pressure, absolutely not.
Especially the ones where sometimes, because production magic is very, very good.
Yeah,
Sometimes they give you about 3 or 4 sous chefs, but they're not sous chefs that you normally work with, and so you've got that added pressure.
right.
Oh.
And Gordon Ramsay, he's, oh goodness, I cannot work under that pressure.
Get
No.
that sometimes, like the woman that was making soul food in a wok. He was very right about you don't make soul food in a wok. All right. So now, what gave you the itch to be to start get pursuing your acting and modeling career?
Um, it happened at one time when I was singing for like just like a I had like a I believe it was a wedding one time I sang for. And all I kept doing, I was just smiling. I'm just such a people person, and everyone just gravitates towards me. Um, and I never leave without having someone just smile or laugh or something accidentally.
Hmm.
But they said, you should be an actress one day. You're so beautiful. You're beautiful than you even know it. I was just like, and I just was smiling, smiling. And they're like, you can be an actress. I see you being. I'm like, really? But even though when I was younger, I wanted to be, I wanted to be on the big screen.
Right.
I wanted to be standing next to Viola Davis or,
Mhm.
someone like that.
Ooh.
And from there, I was just like, you know what? This is really something that I can get into. And over the years, I was just like, this is what I want to do.
Okay, so it started. So that's a good story. It started from singing. You were recognized for that, and that's why I always tell people about energy and chemistry. You gave such great energy, people gravitate towards you, and want you to succeed in any realm. And just entertainment is one of those realms that people saw you in. Um,
Hmm.
and then you've got that big smile. I think the smile is what does it. Um, how do you feel? How do you keep yourself so positive?
How do I?
Keep yourself so positive.
Well, I'm just an optimist. It's,
Mhm,
there's a negativity all throughout this world.
mhm.
And you just have to be that little bit of sunshine because you never know, you know, how bad someone's day is going. Even if I'm having a bad day, someone could be having a worse day than I am. So just giving a smile and just welcoming someone could just change their whole outlook on their day.
Oh, that's we need a lot of that. A lot of that. I think there's a lot of positivity in the world, but you know how it works. Negativity speaks louder than positivity.
Yes.
So people like you, me, and others who have the energy and want to be positive, I think it's great that we put it out there a lot more. During your virtual training for the virtual showcase,
Mhm.
what was your favorite subject? What was your favorite class?
Um, it was probably the improv class. It was
Uh-huh.
improv, and it was the posing, the modeling and posing class.
Okay, you were working it in that posing
Yeah,
session, weren't
yes, I was. It brought out a side of me that I didn't know I had. So,
That you know what I was good. That segues into my next question because one of the things I always ask is, what's the biggest thing that you learned from the process? Because everybody thinks about the ending of the process, what happened after. It's just like when you go to college. You go to college, you get a degree, and you're like, eh. But there's a lot of things that you did and learned throughout that process. What was um, the biggest thing you learned in that process?
I would say, like, so going into it, you would think that you know a few things about the industry, and but
Hmm.
to be honest, it's so much more
Hmm.
that it's so in depth that you do not know. Um, you know how scouting, how you being scouted can change your whole you know
Hmm.
road to this. I feel like, well, the biggest part for me is understanding that things aren't as simple as you thought it was, or as I thought it was.
Hmm.
It's more, people aren't going to just, you know, put you out there. You have to do a lot of the work yourself too. A lot of people think, okay, I'm just going to join an agency or join a management or something, and they'll do everything for me. But no, you are a big part of your marketing. You have to know and learn how to market yourself, and it's not just posting a picture on Instagram or something, but it goes deeper into that.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that we always talk about at the beginning. You're going to get in exactly what you're going to get in what you put in, right?
Hmm.
Some people within a week they're like, "Oh, I should be on TV next to Denzel." And you're like, "No, that's not how this works," right? You see actors and models their whole time talk about how this is a career goal. This is not an overnight thing, and you're one of those people I was fortunate to coach, and you understood that. And we call you all coachable people, which means it's easier to coach. It makes you want to coach more when we get talent like you, because you learn a lot of things outside of just acting and modeling throughout
Yes.
that process. Velma Thomas says, beautiful, so beautiful and happy, nice with a bunch of hearts. Oh, thank you, Velma. Is she talking about me or is she talking about you? She might be talking about both of us, but I'm gonna defer to you because that was you are. Okay, here's the sneaky question, and you can't say me. Who was your favorite coach?
Um, I will have to say my favorite coach is Tequila, Coach Tequila. I feel like I feel like she kind of matches my spirit in a way. She's
Mhm.
very welcoming, and like she's just like someone who you can just like cozy up to and talk to, and she can relate to you. And I guess it's just me speaking from like a woman's point of view, and like I
Mhm.
can really connect with Tequila.
Well, she gives good mama vibes too. She's so
Yes.
welcoming and loving, but she can also turn it on, right? If you're not doing what
Yes.
you're supposed to, she
Yeah,
can also flip
she
it on.
tells you like it is, but
Yeah.
she's very, she's
Yeah.
very sweet.
I think we all, not all, but I think that's one thing we strive for, because I've coached you in many classes, and you've seen me be a goofball for 2 hours, and you've seen me go in for 2 hours, right?
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
back to that energy. You get what you put in. Following instructions is a big thing, and one of the things that you were so great at was following instructions. How important do you feel that is in life? Do you feel like people pay enough attention to the details?
No, it's so easily like details or instructions are so easily overlooked, and like you would feel like, oh, I'll just do this, but then when you actually sit and read the directions you were given or instructions you were given, you will realize that you missed about 3 or 4 of those points instead of just skimming through it. And people just skim through, skim through. But
Mhm.
when you actually sit and read, and like, oh, that's why I probably, you know, didn't, get a response fast enough as I was expecting to, or something like that, instead of, paying
One of
attention.
the one of the things I enjoyed during the virtual showcase, by the way, Ianthee Law was in the first virtual showcase. If you go to the Avanti YouTube page, you can check out the highlights of the VTS Summer Showcase 2022, and you'll see her there with her awesome 1970s Pam Grier afro. That was awesome. But one of the things I enjoyed about doing that show was the entire 3-day weekend was so long, and you smiled all 3 days from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Where
Yes.
people were getting tired, people were getting grumpy. You smiled the whole time. And I knew there were parts where you wanted to be grumpy, but you would not, and you smiled, right?
Because grumpiness really won't get you anywhere. It
Mhm.
won't. Even though, like I said, you could like feel like the worst, but just smile and just be grateful that you're just here another day. So that's pretty much how I look at it.
What was your favorite part from that weekend? Or favorite part, or I want to know, like, what is the memory from that weekend that you still think about, or makes you smile when you think about something that happened that weekend?
I would say, to be honest, the whole, not just the weekend, the whole time was just me remembering my elevator pitch. um, it was me remembering my elevator pitch, and it's so crazy how you're you, and you should know what to say about you. And when someone asks, oh, tell me about yourself, or tell me your elevator pitch, and it's so hard. That was the hardest thing. And to just write something about myself without giving a 3-page essay, and trying to bring it down to like a small section. And I
Mhm.
smile about it all the time. And I'm like, wow, I really fit it in to 60 seconds or a little less. And I remembered it. And each time, because you used to get on us, you're like, listen, you guys got to learn your elevator pitch. No more reading off the paper. And it was just hard for me. So I'm like, I cannot remember this because I would change it every other day. And you're
Uh,
like, stop changing your elevator pitch. You got to
are
remember.
you doing an imitation of me? Wait, do that again. Go ahead. I want you to imitate me now. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I would call him like, hey, John, so I just changed my, why did you change it? I told you it's fine. And I was
You
just like, okay, I'm gonna memorize it. And then like when we would, practice, you'll see me glancing to the side trying to read off the book. And
know,
but I memorized it, and I think that was the most memorable thing for me because I memorized it. And it shouldn't be something hard to memorize, but it's rough when you have to write about yourself, honestly.
the first thing you're like, well, I didn't call you to get yelled at, number one. And then I'm trying to enjoy my fruity pebbles, and you're calling me about changing your elevator pitch for the 100th time while I'm trying to have breakfast. No, but that was hard, right? When you think about it and you're like, wait a minute, you want me to tell them all these things about myself, but you want me to tell them in 30 seconds.
Hmm. That was hard.
But you did it. So that was so your most memorable part was actually, but hey, when it was your turn to go in that elevator pitch and you didn't think about it, it just flowed out like I told you, right?
Like, to be honest, I think it was just like the anxiousness of it, leading up, and you're afraid you're gonna mess up. But once you literally just get into it, it just goes. Like it's just like becomes a second nature.
I love watching the actual whole video, but you can see it in the highlight. You look like you were one of the people that enjoyed that posing session the most.
Even okay, I will say, like I would watch the posing portion, and I'll be like, oh goodness, this the posing stuff isn't for me. Like it's just not me. I've never,
Uh,
been one to like pose. So me seeing myself like that, and I was just like, it's not for me. But everyone was saying, Iantee, you look beautiful, you look gorgeous, and I'm like, I don't
Do
know.
you
I'm gonna
know? Do
say
you know
so.
why? Because you did the professional job of even if it was something that wasn't you, and like it when the camera started, you performed it. You
Like
looked
I
like
just
you
jumped
were.
into a character.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was just like a character I had to get into.
What do I always tell people? If you don't have a personality, find one and use it when you're trying to do something, right?
Hmm.
Because otherwise, by looking at the highlight or looking at the actual show, it looks like you're just having a ball the whole time during that
It was
pose.
fun. It was very fun. Very fun.
Now, let's talk about how when you look at the video and you see how it always was all put together, when you were home and you're looking around, you're like, wait, I'm just home in front of a white sheet. How is this gonna
Hmm.
look? You know?
That was really cool to me because I didn't expect it to look like that. Like whoever John, but helped put all this together. They really captured like a theatrical kind of thing, and it was really cool.
That was cool. It was so enjoyable. But hey, just like with anything with Nintendo, we went through our pains, right?
Hmm.
Went through our pains. We went through our long Saturdays, our long Sundays. But in
Yeah.
the end, the show went on and we did excellent. You got a lot of love in that live show, even from people who didn't know you. So that was a great thing too. Because it's easy sometimes to say, you go, girl, when it's your sister, your aunt, your mom. But there are a
Hmm.
lot of people who didn't know you that just loved that you were up there being you, being confident, right? Being confident. So what do we got coming up now, Ayante? You did your VTS showcase. What are we doing now? Because we always say it's not over then, right? Once that
Hmm.
showcase is over, that's not the end of the road. So what's coming up for you?
So I after the showcase, I got a call back from Maltby, the Maltby
Mhm.
agency, and I have an interview on the 22nd with them. So I'm
That
very
you're gonna
excited
rock.
about that. Pardon?
That you're gonna rock, right?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
very excited, very nervous, very excited. Um, and I, have a little cooking show in the works,
Mhm.
coming up. So stay
Oh,
tuned.
you got a cooking show coming up, and you've got an agency meeting coming up that you're gonna rock. Well, hey, you know how to introduce yourself now.
Yes.
So, look, tell me this, because you could see the look on some people's face when you say, "All right, in this elevator pitch, you're gonna tell me about yourself, but I don't want you to talk about acting and modeling." And you see a bunch of people go, "Wait, huh?"
Mhm.
How did you
Oh,
receive that?
so basically, before, like when you first asked me what was I doing before, acting and modeling, I had to kind of think back about that, because before, obviously you coming into, you're signing up for something and you're going there for either acting and modeling, or either or both, and you figure, okay, that's what they want to hear. They want to hear that I want to be an actor or I want to be a model. But before actors and models became actors and models, they were something before that. And it was just kind of, difficult to kind of grasp what was I before an actress or a model, because I was something, I wasn't just nothing. So
Right.
that's what it was.
Trying to find that interview. Nika says very eloquent. Oh, thank you. Again, they're talking about you. They're not talking about me. Um, Velma's continuing to give you your roses. I love it. Velma must be your aunt. No, I'm just kidding. It's
This is
the
my
truth.
mom.
All right. Well, I was close. I was getting in the ballpark. If you gave me 30 more minutes, I would have narrowed it down, right? Are you a spitting image of her?
um I mean, I don't think so. People always say you look like your mom,
All right.
but
Here
I
comes
guess,
the truth.
if someone who would don't
Yes.
know us at all, they will say you look like your mom. So yeah,
Uh-oh, here comes the trouble question. And it's just between me and you. I won't tell anybody else.
okay.
Who's the better cook?
Okay, I will say, a lot of things that I learned from my mom. I learned from watching her. She
Uh-huh.
taught me. Um,
Uh-huh. But
we both cook on the same level.
oh,
Like she's like 100, and I'm like, 100.1. You know what I'm
oh,
saying? Like,
okay. Velma, you tell me in the comments who cooks better. You
oh
tell
god.
me. You tell me in the comments, because you know what? That's going to be one of your cooking shows. This is going to be a you and Velma cook off. Yep. She said, "Look, here's her answer, Mom."
Well, she's right and wrong at the same time.
Hey, look, hey, if it's gonna be your cooking show, you gotta let them know I dominate the kitchen, right? We're gonna let them know that right now. So that would be awesome to see a cook off between you two. So you talked about you got a cooking show that you're working on. You've got agency meeting with one of the agents that called you back. That sounds exciting, and I know you're trying to continue training. What outside of entertainment are you doing as well? A little bit more about you, what you're doing as well.
Like outside of entertainment, or like outside of
You
cooking as well.
outside of cooking entertainment, you work things that you're doing in the community or projects or hobbies that you're working on, anything like that?
Not much. You know, I do poetry on the
Oh,
side.
okay.
Um, I've
Well,
been
do you go
to
to like poetry slams or you just write
I've
poetry?
been I've been to two poetry slams, but I've never been in like the poetry slam, because I just do it for like freely. I'm very like a free spirited kind of poet.
Mhm.
Um, Other than that, nothing else.
Was your confidence level always high?
No.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second because we always want to get something inspirational out of the interview. When was your confidence not so high, and how did you get through that barrier and raise your confidence to where it is now?
So I think the last time it was low was when I was in middle school.
Mhm.
School is hard,
Yeah, it's a rough.
there's gonna be bullies everywhere you go, not even just in school,
Yeah.
so leading up to middle school, it was rough.
Mm,
Um, when I entered high school, you know, I saw that a lot of people were also in my shoes, even though if they didn't look like me or
mm,
they were being bullied for the same exact thing. I noticed that it was a lot of people who were insecure as well. And when you finally understand and you can relate to other people and you can say, you know what, everywhere you go, there's always going to be something ready to knock you down, but you have to be the one to fight back. So
mm,
that's what it was for me.
mm.
From high school on, I just like ignored people, just ignored. And this it's crazy. The more you ignore people, the more they just want to get your attention.
Yeah.
But
But
that's
you gotta not let them win, right?
hmm
Cannot let them win. I used to tell my niece all the time, the block button is infinite.
yeah,
You never
yeah,
run out of block buttons, right?
yes.
Creation by Design Teeth Whitening says, my favorite girl. Thank you, Creation by Design Teeth Whitening. So, hey, being an inspiration, people who are going to watch that don't even know you, that may be in middle school and watching this, and come back and watch in high school, they know that everyone's, not everyone, but people have been through those experiences. And having a good supporting cast is also great, but also you've got to also want to get through that. So I
Yes.
love how awesome your confidence was in the beginning, and with every talent too. I'm like a proud papa because you can watch the growth from the first week to the last week to the rehearsals to
hmm
the showcase, and you can kind of watch that grow. You always had the smile, but you still blossom through those 16 weeks. You talked more than you did in
That's
the beginning.
true.
Mhm.
That is true. One thing about the full 16 weeks, I will say it brought out another side of me that I didn't know that I was capable of expressing. Especially when it came to getting into character or the modeling portion.
Mhm.
I just never. I was always someone to kind of like stay in the background, but
Mhm.
the full program really taught me that there's a spot for me as well. Not just in the background, but I deserve a spot as well.
You're right. You said you used to be in the background. Now there's a spot. That's why you're on the spotlight, girl. That's why you're on the spotlight. Okay. You don't get on the talent spotlight just by staying in the background. You get on the talent spotlight by doing all the things that we talked about today, following instructions, following directions, having your material prepared, doing things at the benchmarks that you're supposed to do, never complaining. Even when you want to complain, sometimes you got to realize in the big scheme of things, you're not out here digging ditches. You're not out here
Mhm.
putting on a roof in August in the South. You're learning how to act and model and nurture yourself as a person. You actually did well. No one picks this as their favorite class, but the communications class, you did well because you follow instructions. So um, that was something you did very well. Ianthe, it was such a pleasure to have you on here. uh, you're going to keep in touch because you're going to be amazing. We've got everyone who's on Talent Spotlight has opportunities. So when we do bigger projects on YouTube in the future, like if we get mega guests and host them, I'm going to reach out to some of the Talent Spotlight people who have been spotlighted in the past to co-host, do all kinds of awesome things. So love you. Keep up the good work. And what I want to leave with is something inspiring that you can say to everyone watching, whether
I
it's a
know
marketer.
I know people, hear this all the time, but it's really true to stay persistent. It's very important that you believe in yourself
Mhm.
and stop waiting for other people to believe in you. You have to start with yourself. Believe in yourself first and believe that you can do it and it will be done.
All right, you heard it from the beautiful smile herself, Ianthee Law, which sounds like a law firm, but it's not. That is maybe that'll be her cooking show, laying down the law in the kitchen. I don't know, but be great. I know your mom's gonna call you right after this episode's over and say, "How dare you say?" But you have a great one. Thank you all
You
for watching
too.
the Avanti Talent Spotlight. Tune in next time that we have one. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can see when we have other talent spotlights come up. And we're gonna get one last comment creation by Design Teeth White. It says, "Yes, good job, girl. Yes, she did a great job. That's why she was the first episode." Thank you, Ianthe. Thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you so much for having me.
watching.